Hello and welcome to episode 181 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. My name is Tonchi Prusak and I'm your host for the next 45 minutes or so of tonight's episode of tonight's show. And on tonight's show, we're coming to you from Bell Park Sports Club because Bell Park Soccer Club is our club episode sponsor for tonight's episode. Big shout out to President Rose Piratina and all the crew here at the Bell Park Sports Club for supporting the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. And it's the third episode or third installment of our club episode series. We had Geelong Galaxy. Last week we had Surf Coast, and this week we've got Bell Park Sports Club. So a big thank you to all of those clubs who have supported the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. If you're not one of those clubs, and there are about 20 plus clubs in Geelong who haven't as yet jumped on board and supported us, reach out and make sure that we're able to bring you the sport that you love, and in fact the only media in Geelong that covers the sport that you love, that we can bring it to the airwaves every week. Now, on tonight's show, we're going to be catching up with the coach of the senior men's team, Alan Muscat. On the weekend, they had a fantastic weekend. Victory over Moonee Ponds United right here at Batesford. We'll also be catching up with Olivia Serapinko, the captain of the senior women's team at Bell Park Soccer Club as well. And we'll also be looking at all of the news, views, the results from the weekend just gone by. Generally speaking, it was a positive weekend for Geelong clubs. We'll also be looking forward to what's happening next week over the Easter weekend and thereafter. Now, a little bit of a notice. I am going to be away for 4 weeks. So after tonight's episode, we're going to have 2 shows that will be pre-recorded and aired on April the 13th and April the 20th. Then I'll be back on the April the 27th. Next week, there will be no show, being Easter Monday. So next week, we will be taking a short break. Speaking of breaks, we're going to take a short commercial break. And when we return, it's time for this week's News Desk. We start off this week's news desk with some footage there from the Geelong Galaxy United Eltham Redbacks VPLW Round 4 clash. The game was played yesterday at the Golden Plains Reserve, and despite that freakishly amazing goal from the Galaxy, Geelong Galaxy lost, unfortunately, 3-5. Jade Feeks scored in the 30th minute. Phoebe Vivian scored a brace in the 69th and the 90th minute. As we can see there, that loss takes Geelong Galaxy to 6th position. 2 wins and 2 losses from their opening 4 games. After the Easter break, they come up against ladder leaders Bundoora United, who are sitting very, very comfortably in top spot on equal points with Eltham Redbacks, who defeated our Galaxy yesterday. That game will be at Hillsview Recreation Reserve on Saturday, April the 11th, kickoff at 3 p.m. North Geelong Warriors in Victorian Premier League 1 defeated Eltham Redbacks 3-2 in a very highly entertaining match at Alco Park on Saturday night. Cassian Ungal scored in the 71st minute with a penalty. Not even a minute later, Patrick Wall made it 2 goals to the Warriors in the 72nd minute. And Marcus Perriton, the youngster, getting on the score sheet in the 78th minute. A 3-2 win over the Eltham Redbacks, who previously, I think, were in 3rd spot. That means North Geelong jumps into 4th spot on the competition standings. And obviously, with the Easter break coming up this weekend, no matches in VPL 1 in the VPL 1 competition, but the following Saturday on the April the 11th, Melbourne Victory will play host to the North Geelong Warriors at City Vista Reserve, and that game kicking off at 3 p.m. Now, the Melbourne Victory, they are in 10th position at the moment. Turning our attention now to Men's State League, and we had Pascoe Vale lose to Geelong in State League 1 action. Bruno Gervasoni scoring the only goal of the game to give Geelong a 1-0 win over Pascoe Vale. It was Geelong's first win this season in State League 1. In State League 2, Geelong Rangers lost to Western Eagles 1-2. Rikuo Kanakubo scoring for the Rangers, but it wasn't enough as the Eagles ran out 2-1 winners at Myers Reserve. Corio Soccer Club suffered its 2nd consecutive loss to Albion Rovers 0-2. And Surf Coast defeated Mill Park, courtesy of a John Clark goal to defeat Mill Park 1-0. As we can see, highlights from the State League 4 action between Bell Park and Melbourne University. Bell Park ended up winning, defeating Melbourne University 2-1. Marcus Tukkovic scored the first one, and it was an own goal in the second one. Great win there by Bell Park, and we'll be speaking to their coach, Alan Muscat, a little bit later on in tonight's program. In State League 5, Doreen United hosted Deakin Ducks, and it was the Ducks that came away with a 2-1 win, courtesy of a goal by Finley Duncan and Jeremiah Jacoby. The Lara United versus Keilor Wolves game at the Lara Recreation Reserve, that game was washed out, and that will be replayed in one of the catch-up rounds later in the season. In State League 6 action, Ocean Grove drew with West Point 0-0. And unfortunately for Bowen Soccer Club, they came away from Hume Bulls with a 6 at the wrong end of a 6-1 scoreline. Finn Murphy scoring the only goal of the game for Bowen Soccer Club. If we move on to the fixtures, and remembering once again also the state leagues won't be in action as far as league football is concerned next week over the Easter break. On Saturday, April the 11th, Geelong hosts Yarraville Glory at Winslow Stadium on Saturday night, 6 p.m. This is going to be a very interesting game because it's 6th versus 7th, and Geelong will be hoping to continue their winning ways against the Glory. In State League 2 action, Geelong Rangers travels to Epping Stadium up in the north of Melbourne to take on the Whittlesea Rangers. And it's a case of 7th versus 8th. So it should be a fairly even match, that one. Mill Park, currently in 10th position, hosts Corio in 12th position at the Partridge Street Reserve. That game kicking off at 3 p.m. And Surf Coast will travel for the first time this season up the Princess Highway to Strathnaver Reserve to take on FC Strathmore, who are currently in 9th position. The Coasters are doing very well They are in third position at the moment after 2 rounds. Pardon me, after 2 rounds. And this is the blockbuster. This is going to be a huge game in State League 4. First versus second. Bell Park at the moment, 2 games, 2 wins, taking on West Preston, who also have won 2 games from their opening 2 matches. This game at HLT Alton Park will kick off at 5 p.m. And what a game that promises to be. We'll find out a little bit more about what Bell Park is expecting from this encounter when we speak to Alan Muscat a little bit later on in the show. Over the page, we go to State League 5, and Deakin Ducks will be hosting the Heidelberg Stars, 6th versus 4th at Deakin University's Warm Ponds campus. Kick off there at 3 p.m. And Lara United travels to Darebin United, 10th place Darebin United. That game at Mayor Park kicks off at 5 p.m. And the first local derby of the season, well, we had to wait 3 rounds for it, but in State League 6, Barwon will host Ocean Grove at Grovedale Reserve at 5:15 p.m. Hopefully there'll be a big crowd on hand for that game on Saturday, April the 11th. Now, even though there's no State League or VPL action next weekend, we've got a couple of matches, or in fact just one match on Easter Saturday, this coming Saturday. North Geelong travels to H.A. Smith Reserve on the other side of Melbourne to take on Old Scotch Soccer Club, who are in State League 1. Earlier game, obviously because of the Easter Saturday festivities, I suppose. It's kicking off at 1:30 p.m. Now, Surf Coast has progressed through to round 5 by virtue of a 3-0 forfeit. So Sunbury United have already said that they will not be taking part in that game. And they've had some off-field dramas in recent weeks, Sunbury United. In Women's Nike FC Cup, there will be 2 games to be played Saturday weeks on Saturday, April the 11th. Barwon hosting Malvern City at 1 p.m. So that's going to be a big day of football there at Grovedale Reserve with the State League men, obviously to follow at 3 p.m. the reserves, and then 5:15 the seniors. So a big day of football at Grovedale Reserve on Saturday, April the 11th. So Barwon taking on Malvern City in round 2 of the Nike FC Cup. North Geelong Warriors, they make their, season debut, if you like. Their first game of the new season when they host La Trobe University at Alco Park. That game kicking off at 1 p.m. Now, over the weekend, Football Victoria announced the emerging Matildas squads, and there's quite a few Geelong-based players that play for both the under-15, who will be playing for the under-15 and the under-16 Victorian state teams. Now, at the time of putting this show together, they still hadn't released the names of the boys' teams or the emerging Socceroos, but that stay tuned to the social media channels, Football Victoria's social media channels, and I'm sure they will be in coming days, maybe even weeks, be announcing that. If we turn our attention to the Victorian under-15 girls' white team, there's several Geelong players there. Ayla Nikolovsky, Isabel Petsis, and Matilda Randalls Pedersen, all from the Geelong Galaxy FC team. The under-15 girls blue team also includes 2 Geelong players, 2 Geelong-based players, Evie Stosic from the Football Victoria Academy and Violet Smith also from the Football Victoria Academy. If we turn our attention now to the under-16 girls, in the blue team, we've got Hannah Walsh from Geelong Galaxy. And in the under-16 girls white team, we've also got Katerina Arbanas, who is from Melbourne but plays with Geelong Galaxy, former North Geelong player, and now at Geelong Galaxy. She's in the under-16 girls team. And since this is the Bell Park Sports Club themed club episode, and we thank everyone involved at Bell Park, we're just going to acknowledge also Bell Park's 2026 sponsors And there they all are. And speaking of Bell Park, we're going to take a short commercial break. When we return, we will be speaking with the coach of the senior men's team at the Bell Park Soccer Club, Alan Muscat.
What do we do at J Hill Books? For some clients, we process their payroll, accounts, and invoicing every week. For other clients, we check their data entry and reconcile their accounting software to their bank statement before lodging their quarterly BAS. We set up new accounting software files and train clients how to use them. We work with clients across varied industries, from hospitality to construction to disability support to professional services and tradies. As we have a team of bookkeepers, we can offer uninterrupted service to our clients. Our preferred method of bookkeeping is using Dext and Xero. J Hill Books is a Xero Gold partner and a registered BAS agent. One important message we would like to convey right now is that from July 1st, 2026, Payday Super is coming. This means all employers need to pay super on the same day they pay their wages. This will have a huge impact on cash flow for employers, and they need to start preparing for this now. Please get in touch if we can help you with this transition. Visit our website at www.jhillbooks.com.au or contact us on 0402 469 243.
Here we are after the game, and what a thriller it was. It just had absolutely everything. It had goals, it had yellow cards, it had a couple of send-offs as well. Who would want to be a coach? Well, we're going to ask our next guest exactly that question because he's the coach of the Bell Park senior men's team. And welcome back, Alan Muscat. We've had you on the show before. Congratulations, 2-1 win today over Moonee Ponds. Tough game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Good to see you again too, Tom. Thanks for coming down tonight. Yeah, it was a a game of two halves, I thought. Look, credit to Moonee Ponds. They set up structurally very well. I thought we had the better of them in the first half. Second half, I think, was a bit of a topsy-turvy game. The second half, they started off well as well, and look, obviously the red card didn't help us as well and change the momentum of the game a bit. But look, end of the day, and when your team's in it, 2-1 up, the boys dug deep today. They really dug deep. Thought they put in a very good shift today.
Yeah, Moonee Ponds took an early lead in the her first half, 1-0, and then it was Marcus Trupkovic scored a goal, and then the second goal, was that a own goal or was that James Penty managed to get on the end of that?
Look, I think James will claim it, but let's put that as an own goal thing. No, look, it's from across. Yeah, anything could happen now. Again, probably need to view the VO, but everybody's saying it's an own, but I think James is trying to claim it anyway. So,
yeah. So come from behind win, totally different to what last week was, a 4-0 win at home against Melbourne University. Are you happy, or are you kind of, coach is never happy, let's be honest, but are you happy with the way the boys did fight back from 1-0 down to, in the end, capture the 3 points?
Yeah, look, Tonch, I felt we were very comfortable in that first half, and I felt that they scored against a run of play. Not to sound too arrogant, I felt very confident, even though we conceded. We still kept to our structure, we still kept to our game plan, and to credit, we got a goal back. And yeah, like I said, we just kept on doing what we do. We try to dominate and stick to our structures, how we want to play. But look, as I said, credit to Moonee Ponds. They came with a game plan as well. We went with our game plan, and ultimately with the 3 points in there today. So
yeah, now mate, this is your second year here at Batesford, so there's stability as far as the coaching team is concerned. With the players, obviously, there's always movement. There's a lot of movement in these divisions. It's quite a fair bit of movement. But the players you've picked up, some of the players that you've recruited, seem to have been really good, and there's more to come as well, I've been told. So let's talk about the players that have come. Are you happy with the recruits that you've managed to entice over here in the off season?
Yeah, look, Todd, at the end of the day, we took about 10 names off the boards from last year, and we lost a lot of experience.
Yeah,
with Mio, Palms, Harris, Luca up top, and Steve at the back line. So we lost a lot of experience. So that was something that we was crucial. Was hard to find experienced players, especially in this area and coming down to these lower leagues. But look, we went for a different dynamic this year in terms of personnel. We brought in some decent centre backs from other clubs, like James and Marco come onto the club as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that we put these players in. And look, we haven't had the best pre-season. to be honest. But look, end of the day, we still stuck to our structure, stuck to what we want to do. We got young Junmir coming as well, Italian import.
He's at number 77.
Yes,
absolutely dynamic. I tell you what, he's going to be my early call in the season. Very exciting player to watch, and you definitely need to come up to Batesford to watch this kid in action.
So it's good. I mean, with him as well, and a few others that we brought in, we recruited 2 or 3 more boys towards probably the second last week of the pre-season, which we thought we just needed some bolstering in the squad. Look, this year I feel that the squad's got a bit more depth than we had last season, and everybody's bought into it. Everybody's bought into it. It's a great bunch of lads. It's a pleasure to coach these guys. Pleasure to be a coach of this football club. It's always hard to put 11 players on when you've got 16, 18 guys chomping at the bit to play. And, to everybody's credit, the guys that come off the bench, play their part. And, like I said, it's a happy change room. And as you know yourself, like when you're winning, it's happy. But, it gives me headaches and gives my assistant coach, Andrew, headaches. But that's what we're in the game for too.
Now, 2 games, 2 wins. You can't ask for anything more than that. Going into the Easter break, obviously, next week. Early days, obviously, too early to call. But what's the calibre of the state for the league this year? Obviously, it's a restructured league, so it's no longer North or West. It's Northwestern. 2 up, 2 down. So it's a lot more kind of, for once, Football Victoria, I think, have done a good job in that regard. But have you had a chance to see some of the other teams that you're up against, and who, in your opinion, will probably be the big threats to you this year?
Yeah, look, good question. I felt like the league this year is a bit like when we grew up, like the old Super Leagues. They've joined the best of the North, best of the West together now. So there's no easy games. No. And look, a bit hard to do homework on the Northern clubs. You hear, we talk and we know these things. Look, West Preston's had a good start to the season. I mean, I don't know how they went tonight, but, they're one of the front runners. Also, Watsonia Heights, missed out on promotion last year from the northern side. Look, and from our side, there's always those strong clubs, like, the West Sides, the Meltons, the Point Cooks, and Barnstone-Worth are always going to give you trouble as well. So, the 4 or 5 clubs that were in the league from last year, and then not to mention Laverton Park, who got relegated, and, they're always going to be tough. So, look, it's always going to be interesting for us, traveling to the other side of town. It's not, it's foreign territory for us. Then we got West Preston after the break, so it's going to be a very difficult fixture up there as well. But look, I feel that anybody on their day can beat anybody in this league, I reckon.
Now, that's a good point you make about the travelling, because last year, I guess, there was 4 Geelong teams in this league, so you didn't have to travel too much. And obviously, up here, Batesford, it becomes a bit of a fortress, but now it's a different story. You do have to travel a lot. How important is that home ground advantage going to be this year going forward?
Yeah, look, I feel it's going to be crucial. I feel, look, last year we went undefeated at Batesford last year, and we've started off the year well with 2 wins here as well. Look, yourself, you pick up maximum points or as much points as you can at home, and you do your best away. But again, there's different pitches, different size pitches. I know Watsonia play on an artificial pitch, so not many people are used to that. And look, other grounds, the conditions of pitches and so forth. So look, it's going to be interesting. I feel like it's an interesting league, exciting to be part of it. But like I said, I feel like at any time, any given day, anybody can beat each other in this league.
Yeah. What's going to be the key, I guess, is obviously everyone's going to say consistency, but what's going to be the key in this league? Is it going to be having a stronger attack, stronger defence, that midfield transition? What do you think is going to be the key, without obviously giving too much away, but what do you think is going to be the key to success in State 4 this year?
Yeah, look, I think you hit the nail on the head with those 3-4 points you made there, Toncho. It's
I should be a coach, right? No.
Yeah, yes, come on board, son. No, look, I feel, Tonch, all those things that you mentioned as well, and I think it's more about continuity. Yeah. Having your plays available as well. And look, we all know, you need a lot of luck to win the league as well. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah. The beauty is 2 teams go up, and I think from memory the 3rd team plays off against the Southeast team as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So look, there's a bit of a carrot for everybody. So everybody's investing in their clubs, investing in their teams. Yeah. And yourself, momentum's a wonderful thing. We've picked up 6 points at home. We go into the break, refresh a couple of players. And obviously a couple of red cards, a couple of injuries, or 1 red card and injury today. Yep. We'll manage that. Gives us 14 days to our next game, and we'll just reassess and go again, Tonch.
Excellent. Well, on that note, mate, we wish you all the very best for season 2026. It is going to be an exciting year. And look, Saturday night time slot, 6 p.m, when most of the other teams around the town have finished up. It's always a good thing. And I did see quite a few people today from different clubs. So it's always a good thing for the people to get around to different clubs. Mate, all the best for the year.
Thank you very much, Tonch. Thanks for your time.
Good on you. We'll be back very, very shortly after this very short break.
EcoDuct is a Geelong-based business which manufactures an environmentally friendly low-profile duct system that is specifically designed for high-rise apartment applications where limited ceiling spaces are common. The innovative duct system is used to exhaust kitchen and bathroom ventilation where there are limited ceiling spaces. The only Australian-made PVC duct supplier in the country, EcoDuct, has full control over its stock and has an unlimited supply to ensure all projects run smoothly. They are 30% cheaper than the imported products and are 100% Australian made. Made from best environmental practices, their products are made of up to 50% recycled material and is 100% recyclable and compliant to all Australian standards. For more information, call EcoDuct now on 03 5278 5573. That's 03 5278 5573, or visit their website at ecoduct.com.au. EcoDuct are proud sponsors of the North Geelong Warriors football.
The world is yours. So work hard and you can have whatever it is you want.
Club.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast, and we continue with tonight's special Bell Park Soccer Club themed episode. And with me here today, it's time to talk women's football and the captain of the senior women's team, Olivia Serapinko. Olivia, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good. Absolute pleasure to have you here. Now, the pre-season's well and truly underway. Can't wait for the start of the season just after Easter. How has the pre-season been as far as you're concerned?
It's been pretty good. We started in start of Jan. We don't start too early, but we started January after the break. We've got some numbers this year. We've had a few girls come back, a few new girls.
That's always a good sign, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's good to start with a lot of numbers. So it's very assuring. But yeah, it's
Is
been
the aim
pretty
to
good.
have one or two teams this year?
Just one for now.
Mhm.
I think maybe in the future. We have a lot of juniors, so when they start to come up, we might end up having two.
Yeah.
But just enough for one, I think.
Yeah. Now, Marcus Stolter, he's been an ever-present in seasons gone by as the coach. Is he the coach again this year?
Yeah, he's the coach again. We've got Dean Graham, one of our players' dads, helping too. And we've still got Enzo Fierro as well. So we've got our little coaching squad there.
Cool,
Yeah.
And you're the captain. Do you have anyone with you, like an assistant or a co-captain?
Yeah, so I'm the captain. I've got actually Mark's daughter and Dean's daughter. It is quite
Okay, bit of a family affair happening
but,
there.
No, I just feel like those two are another presence on the team. They show that leadership. I think they respect what their dads do and sort of a bit more like considerate of their time now. So it's good to have them with me as our sort of like leadership
Group.
Yeah,
No, that's awesome. Yeah, well, obviously the season sort of kicks off after Easter with I do believe it's the gradings. Is that right?
Yeah,
Is that
4 weeks of grading.
What do you think of it? Like last week we had Surf Coast, and they, talked about what they think about the gradings. We had someone from Lara earlier in the year who wasn't very happy about the gradings. What's your stance on it as a player?
I do sort of agree with it, but it is sort of, I think when you've had the same teams in the same divisions for the last couple of years, you sort of know who would be in Division 1. I feel like if someone did want to go down or someone did want to go up, they can sort of request to.
Yeah.
But I feel like 4 weeks of grading, it's sort of hard to tell because then you might have different teams in your group and you might do very well, but you're not up to Div 1.
Yeah.
So it's a bit hard to tell. Like last year, I think we had Corio Bay and they made Div 1, but then they drop down to Div 2. So it sort of messes it up a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
But it's hard to tell with grading.
And I guess a lot of people kind of hate the fact that it eats into the season. I mean, it's a short season as it is, 18 games. Then you have 4 weeks of gradings, and really it then becomes a 14-week season, and it's almost like half a season, so to speak, if you don't include the finals. But anyway, moving along. So we've had the preseason. That's awesome. A lot of players, new players as well.
Really
That's really good. What's been the mood like? I mean, we look behind here. The club rooms, they're a year old or so, or they're fantastic facilities. The lights are on. It's just such a good atmosphere up here, on and off the field. What's it like at the moment in the dressing room at Bell Park with the senior women's?
It is really good. It's good. And again, like I said, we've had a lot of girls come back that used to play with us, a lot of new girls. We have some older girls, some girls that have never played before. So it's sort of good at the moment because we're still getting to know each other. Yeah. But it's a very supportive. We're close outside of soccer too. So it's we're all friends. So it doesn't take a lot for us to get along. So it's pretty good.
No, that's excellent. So the mood's really good. Now, you're telling me just off air you've got a sponsor, or a couple of sponsors this year. So we'll give a shout out to the sponsors who are supporting the women's team this year. Who are some of the sponsors, if you know now?
Yeah, I think our major sponsor is Hoyt, so the Spice brand, which Enzo, our coach, got us that. So we've had that the last couple of years, which is very good to have them back on board. Yep. We appreciate it a lot. And I think we've got other few sponsors that do both us and the men's. Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. And getting back to, you mentioned the juniors a little bit earlier. The juniors are always really, really important, having that influx of players coming in from the younger sides into the seniors, or in some cases, some teams have reserves as well.
Yeah.
How is the junior setup at the moment looking here at Bell Park as far as the girls' side of things?
No, it is looking very good. We have a lot of junior girls, which is very surprising because we didn't used to. So we have a lot of junior girls that like A, B, C, a lot of age groups. We've got a couple teams in those age groups. And we haven't had a under 15s team for a long time, probably since I was under 14s even. Yeah. So it's nice to see not that huge gap between under 11s and us. Yep. So it's nice to see it coming through.
Now, you mentioned, when you were playing under 14s, tell us a little bit about you. How long have you been? Well, first of all, what position do you play?
Oh, I'm a centre back.
Yeah.
I used to be a midfielder, but I like to sort of have that. I like to be the last man.
I like
to sort of be in control of it. So I like being at the back and able to see my whole team.
Yeah. And how long have you? Well, when did you start playing football?
I was a bit of a late bloomer. Yep. All my friends started when they were 5 here. But I didn't start till I was 11. But I've been here ever since.
Yeah, fantastic. Yep. Now, you're telling me off air as well that you've got a direct link with the senior men's team, in the sense that the goalkeeper Oliver happens to be a boyfriend.
Yes.
Now, does that provide some ingredients for some rivalry off the field? When they're not doing too well and you guys are doing well, these sort of thumb your nose at him, or is it the other way around type of thing? Does that sort of have a little bit of a playful rivalry?
A little bit off the pitch. We sort of compete a little bit, but we're always supportive of each other. We come to each other's games. Yep. So it sort of makes it easier for me to support our men's team, and he supports us, and tells the men's to sort of watch us. And, no, it's good.
That's awesome. Yeah. Real like a family.
Yeah, good experience.
And I guess that's what I feel every time I come up here to Batesford, that real kind of family community feel about it. But all jokes aside, he's a goalkeeper. You're a centre back. How invaluable is his advice or support? Because he can obviously see things from a different perspective, and when he's watching it off the field, how important is that? Or do you kind of say, shut up, you stick to your game and I'll stick to mine?
No, it is very important. He definitely tells me more than I tell him. Yeah. But he's been playing a lot longer than me. So I do listen to his advice. Sometimes it's a bit harsh, but it's good to have where we've both got different positions. So it's good to see his point of view. I obviously don't know what it's like to be a goalkeeper. He doesn't know what it's like to be a centre back. Yeah. But it's good to have someone here with you and sort of know the club.
And you guys
the
met
game.
here at Bell
Yeah,
Park
we
Sports.
did
What
meet
a
here.
story! What a great
Yeah.
story that is. Yeah. Looking ahead, what's the aim for the team this year? You're hoping to break into the top 4, just avoid kind of relegation. So, or the bottom. There's no relegation, is there? It's more like the bottom wooden spoon position. Have you sort of set yourselves a goal what you want to achieve in 2026?
I think the goal is always to sort of finish top and do the best we can. We didn't have such a great year last year. We sort of struggled a bit. New number, not a lot of numbers, new girls. But I think this year we've got a pretty good side. So I think, again, I don't know till after grading how we will
absolutely.
go, but until we start versing the teams that we will be. I think we will do very well with the team that we have.
Well, on that note, Olivia, to you and to all the ladies at the senior women's team at Bell Park, wishing you all the best for a great 2026. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good on you. And that brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Thank you to our club sponsors, Bell Park Sports Club. As you can see, the family-friendly club. It's a great atmosphere every time you come up here. There's so much to do. Great social club, fantastic facilities as well. And once again, big shout out to the president, Rose Piratina, and everyone involved with the Bell Park Sports Club for sponsoring this week's club episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Have a happy Easter for all of those that celebrated. Next week, remember, there is no show. We'll be back on Monday, the 13th of April, with a very, very, very special interview and covering a lot of topics. Until then, goodbye, and thank you for tuning in to the Geelong Region Soccer Show podcast. Bye-bye.